Hi, my name is Kevin Lee. I am part of Team 8 Create, and I'll be talking about Chapter 2, National Differences in Political Economy. So to begin my presentation, we're going to start with an introduction about political economy. The term political economy is used to stress that the political, economic, and legal systems of a country are interdependent. These systems interact and influence each other, and in doing so they affect the level of economic well-being. Political, economical, and legal systems differ in each country. Next, we're going to be talking about political systems. In a political system, legal and economical systems are shaped by the political system of a country. In a political system, collectivism is emphasized more than individualism. Political systems can be looked at in two different perspectives. For example, those who emphasize collectivism more than individualism lean more heavily towards totalitarianism. Those who emphasize individualism more than collectivism lean more heavily towards the democratic side. As stated in the previous slide, political systems can be looked at in two different perspectives. I'm going to talk about the very first perspective, collectivism. Collectivism is an emphasis on collective goals as opposed to individual goals. The idea of collectivism was introduced by the Greek philosopher Plato. In reference to collectivism, individuals who favor collectivism more than individualism tend to focus more on collective goals rather than individual goals. Some examples of these are: therefore, in a collectivist point of view, everyone should be able to succeed, live comfortable instead of one group thriving, one suffering, and one in the middle. Also, according to Plato, he believed that to help better the society, individual rights should be sacrificed for the rights of the majority so that everyone could prosper. So, collectivism is basically working together to help the community to prosper rather than being selfish and working on your own individual goals. The second idea that was introduced within the political system is individualism. Individualism is the emphasis on the importance of guaranteeing individual freedom and self-expression. Individualism is the idea where an individual is allowed to have their own personal freedom, where they are able to focus on their own success rather than working within a community. The idea of individualism was introduced by Greek philosopher Aristotle. It is said that in individualism, property owned by an individual receives more attention and develops quicker compared to property that is run by a collectivist. An example of individualism would be basically like, let's say, a person that likes to work on a group project by themselves because sometimes they can't trust their own team members, and for example, other team members probably won't do work, while the person that's an individualist will likely do all the work by themselves because they like being successful. Socialism will be the next thing I'll be talking about. Socialists are people who belong within socialism. Socialists are basically individuals who believe in public ownership of the means of production for the common good of society. The idea of socialism was introduced by Karl Marx. In the 20th century, socialism evolved and split into two different ideas: communism and social democrats. Through communism, communists believed that brute force and rule under one individual would be prosperous to society. However, social democrats opposed the idea that communists had in mind and took their own route. Next, I will be talking about democracy. A democracy is a political system in which the government is run by the people, where the people elect a representative to represent them. A form of democracy would be a representative democracy, where the people elect others to represent them. Then those who are elected form a government and make decisions on behalf of the electorates, which would be the people. Totalitarianism, a form of government where one person or political party exercises the idea of absolute control over all human life and prohibits opposing political parties. Example of these would be 1. Communist totalitarianism, advocates that socialism can be achieved only through a totalitarian dictatorship. An example of this would be North Korea, where they only follow the rule of one person. 2. Theocratic totalitarianism, a political system where political power is monopolized by a party, group, or individual according to religious principles. An example of this would be basically people who ask who is God or who is Buddha. 3. Tribal totalitarianism, a political system in which a party, group, or individual that represents the interests of a particular tribe monopolizes political power. An example of this would be most likely existing in African countries such as Uganda and Kenya. 4. Right-wing totalitarianism, private ownership of property supported by the government. China would be an example of this because they are under communist view and they are ensuing right-wing totalitarianism. Alright, thanks for listening to my presentation. I got all my sources from the book. Thank you.